It's time to mind your business with me, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in to find out how to mind your business with BEDC, special guest entrepreneurs, industry experts, and more. Brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda business starts here. Welcome to Mind Your Business.
Thank you for having me.
So we know each other already. Of course, I'm your host, Jamillah Lodge, and you are Marcus Rewan. Am I saying that right?
Yep, Simon's Rewan is my last name.
Simon's Rewan, okay. And you are the founder of Special Misfits.
Yep.
So we're going to talk a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey. But before we get started, I'd like to give you an opportunity to tell us about yourself.
Well, my name is Marcus Simon's Rewan, as you said. I've grown up in Bermuda my whole life. I was away for school for 1 year in the United States. And I really call myself pretty much a serial entrepreneur.
Okay.
Since a youngin', I've really been passionate about
youngin', as if you're not youngin'.
Well, super young. I started, P2, I was trying to sell my artwork.
Really?
Like, I just really wanted to provide. And then when I was in middle school, I was really, intrigued by a lot of business moguls, like Bill Gates. These guys I was looking at in middle school. So for me, I think the business world was just attractive to me since young.
Okay. Well, you look the part. I told you already. You look sharp. So, Special Misfits, talk to me a little bit about that and how you landed on that.
Well, Special Misfits was something that I took thought on it because I used to sell high-end clothing. I was reselling that during my time in boarding school, and I just saw a lot of traction. And I was really I could kind of penetrate this market and benefit myself. And then I also, the more I hear about these big entrepreneurs and just rich people in general, they always preach creating a brand for yourself so that even if you're not in a career, you have something that can still feed you financially. So I sat down with a friend of mine in my boarding school room, and I was just drawing up different logos and different names, and I kind of came to Special Misfits because I just feel like everybody is special, and essentially we're all misfits because none of us are the same.
Okay.
So, that's kind of where that came from. But since a kid, my older sisters would love to kind of dress me up almost in a sense. So I was just into clothing. Right? I was into clothing a lot, and for me it's just been a passion. So
okay. So Special Misfits sells what exactly?
We specialize in fashion and accessories.
Okay.
But we are kind of penetrating the tech market.
Tell me how that works.
Well, we're doing something a little bit special. We have been integrating technology into our fashion.
Okay.
So things like heated jackets, which come with 12 different heating zones. And then we have some shades which have Bluetooth capabilities.
Okay.
So you can call and listen to music on shades. But we really are kind of standing out from the competition by providing fashion/tech.
Okay.
So.
And have you found that people are drawn to that, or?
I think it's a unique thing. It's something new. So I feel like people have to it has to grow on them. So because it's such a new thing, I feel like some are skeptical, but there is a large population of people that want that futuristic look and just want something innovative. So I do feel like we have our audience for sure.
Okay. So talk to me a little bit about how you identify your customer base. Where do you find them?
Well, I feel like my customer base is mainly found in trends. So anything that's really trendy, when you see people that are always looking for the latest, that's kind of the people that I'm looking for.
Okay.
I often seem online, there's a lot of people that want to be a part of what's next, or what's going to be that futuristic thing. I think that's why a lot of people invest in companies like Tesla and SpaceX. They're looking for something to really strive for that's out of the ordinary. And I feel like that's really where my audience comes from, that group of people that's just itching to have something different from what's already here.
And so how do you reach them? What types of marketing do you do? Do you social media? Is that your primary?
Well, I feel like social media definitely is what's got me a lot of traction. I feel like using a lot of these new innovations like AI, I kind of attract that group of people, the people that are not really interested in basic marketing. So when I put up a video that's like augmented reality with like Denzel Washington's voice, or super animated,
Yeah.
I get my people to come and check out the website. But
Okay.
I feel like word of mouth definitely in Bermuda is probably one of my most popular ways in terms of attracting customers. So being at different vending events,
Okay.
and yeah, just reaching out to people and on that physical level.
Okay. So, I know in Bermuda it is small enough, so word of mouth really does work.
Yeah, for
But in
sure.
the grand scheme of things, when you think about like the world and globally how people reach out to people, utilizing social media and videos, I guess that is the way to go, right?
Well, I mean, strange enough, the stats kind of say otherwise. I think
Okay.
people's attention span is kind of decreasing at like a rapid rate. So social media is becoming less and less effective. And strange enough, you do have more people that actually will pay attention to a magazine or a newspaper ad or even in person more than social media, because you have about a 15-second window before they use that thumb to just swipe to the next post.
Yeah.
So the numbers may look like, okay, you're getting traction, but how many people are paying attention, how many people are reading into it and actually going and checking it out, and that's a different thing.
That's right. You're absolutely right. Now you said you were a serial entrepreneur. You've been selling stuff since P2. Talk to me though about some of the challenges that you found when you were formally trying to make special misfits like a formal business venture. Like, what did you encounter, and what have you done to overcome those challenges?
I would say I really had to work on speed.
Okay.
Like, I was a bit of a perfectionist when I was creating a brand, and I didn't want to put out anything that wasn't my best work. But a lot of times I feel like you just need to start from somewhere. Start from somewhere affordable, use what you have at hand and work with that and then build. So for me, I took a long time just sitting on getting the logo, just what I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And then that first product, I was turning down certain manufacturers because of small little mistakes. But sometimes the mistakes is an opportunity to like improve. So you can get feedback from your customers and see where to go next. So I was just so afraid to mess up, and it just took way longer than what it needed to.
Yeah. But I think you're absolutely right when it comes to mistakes. Sometimes that's your biggest teacher, right? They say you learn more from failing than you do from if everything just worked right for you the first time.
Yeah.
So is that your advice for those who might consider starting a business, or a young person starting
Definitely.
a business?
Just do it. I hate to steal Nike's slogan, but honestly, just do it. Like, you have so much people that waste time on like a thought.
Yeah.
Ideas don't make money, or they waste so much time telling you reasons why they can't do it. And it's like, if we spend 2 hours of you telling me why you can't do it, those 2 hours you could have kept your mouth closed and actually did something.
Right.
So you would have got more progress out of that. And I think a lot of times people just they waste time essentially. Just do it. Fail your way up.
I love that, fail your way up, because I do think that there is a fear of failure, right? You don't want to necessarily be associated with failure, but I think also I think it's important for us to change how we perceive failure, right? So your idea of failing up means that, yeah, you failed, but you are further ahead than you would have been had you not tried at all, right?
I think definitely I got that idea from being a scientist. So I work in a lab as well.
Okay.
And with science, you don't actually know the answer to the question. So you're making a hypothesis, and essentially you are failing until you find out something that can help you get to that point that you want to get. So I've become comfortable in essentially with failing and with things not working out. I can do the same experiment, 10, 11 times, and nothing goes right. But then I have to go back to the drawing board essentially, and if a component of that experiment went right, then at least I know I have one building block, to start with. So, you can't be afraid of failing, because if you don't fail, then you essentially won't find out anything.
Right. Do you think that your scientific brain has assisted you or helped you along your entrepreneurial journey?
Definitely. It's been such an asset. I really didn't think at the beginning that it would play a part, because science and business is like two separate worlds. They
Yeah.
even conflict sometimes, where scientists are like, "You're all about the money, we gotta save the planet,"
Yes.
and the business guys are like, "Well, your solution is not making no money,
Right.
and with no, economy, we don't have no planet."
Right, exactly.
So it's really a conflicting thing, but I found a way to kind of merge it, and I feel like definitely, science really does teach you to have patience. Like, you can't take science personally.
Yeah.
It will stress you out. Nature has some, magnificent ways of just showing you different things.
Yeah.
But you won't learn unless you try and experiment.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I remember visiting incubator space in Georgia at Georgia Tech, and so they're all technology and they're building medical equipment and they're scientists and all of that. And one of the things that they said that they made each scientist or each person in this tech field, they had to take like this entrepreneurial course to help them to understand what is the business application for the solution or the thing that they were creating, which I think is really important because, like you said, you can save the world, but if you don't make the money to produce the thing that you're trying to use to save the world, then nobody's going to see it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So how can you take this great thing that you built and what's the business use case? Like, how can you actually make this thing make money so that you can actually do what you want to do?
Yep. A lot of scientists, they want to stay away from the capitalism.
I know.
But if you really do pay attention to the business even side of things, a lot of the businesses that are making these billions of dollars are in pharmaceuticals. Like, they're in the science industry. Because, life is science, the study of life is biology. So, essentially, if you find a way to monetize your scientific invention or, help others with your science and still make money, it can be super, super beneficial.
Yeah, I think so. So I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about your educational journey, right? So we met when you were in our summer student entrepreneurship program. So I want you to speak about why you entered that program in the first place, and then talk a little bit about what's happened since then.
Okay, well, I think I joined that program to get some more proof of concept. Like, I was really in a space where I knew I could get a sale or two, or I knew people liked my idea, but I didn't really know how the public would take the idea, like, if I was there just constantly promoting it.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a lot of traction as well. So I kind of joined the program for more exposure and more hands-on sales experience with my actual business. But I heard about it through just social media, really. I didn't know too much about BDC until you guys start like pushing a lot of the ads. So it kind of worked with me.
Okay. Well, we're glad you signed up. Thank you for doing that.
It's a great opportunity.
So since signing up, did you get what you wanted, which was to get more exposure and things like that? And
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think it taught me a lot about myself. I think that program in particular is, it's a program where you get out of it what you put in. And that really should, in, getting the opportunity to be in the mall and sell your products, not to say, people didn't show up, but some didn't show up. And even me, I found times where I was like, okay, last 2 days I didn't make any sales. Am I gonna go tomorrow?
Right.
I had to kind of force myself to be like, today might be the day you make all your sales. So just really putting myself in a gear to where you can't give up and you have to actually go and put yourself out there.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is important because sometimes I think people think about entrepreneurship and it sounds sexy and exciting and all of that, but really it's grinding. Like you have to.
You're doing more than the average worker.
Exactly. Nobody is gonna just give you the money. You have to actually go out and get it. And I think sometimes for us, especially with that particular program, because it's targeted to young people, that's the challenge, right? It's like, how do you self-motivate yourself? Yeah, you said you want to bring in this or you want to sell these products, but like you said, some days you don't have any sales. So does that mean you just stop coming? Or does that mean you have to figure out where you're going to get those sales from? What else do you need to do to get the people to come, you know? And those are things that we can't answer. We can only provide the space,
Yeah.
right? And say, okay, now you make it work, right? And I think that piece sometimes young people can be conflicted by. They're like, wait a minute, how much work I got?
Yeah, a lot of people are used to the handout. They're used to, being
Yes.
guided so much that when you have free reins, it's almost like overwhelming for some.
Yeah.
And but I really do think like results is everything.
Mhm.
Even in science, like results is everything. It shows you what works and what don't work.
Right.
So for me, being there with the product, seeing how customers react to
Yeah.
it, was a better way for me to then say, okay, what do I bring in next?
Yes.
Because a lot of times I would have products that I like,
Yeah.
but essentially I'm not going to be buying all these products.
Right.
So I've got to.
You already got your one.
Exactly. I've got to. I got to feed into what my customers want and the
Right.
consumer environment.
I think that's a good point, because I think sometimes, especially when you start a business and people, it's like their baby, right? This is my thing. I like it. So everybody should like it. And I think sometimes a hard lesson to learn is that everybody doesn't like what you like.
Yeah.
Right? And so you start off here thinking, I'm going to sell this. Everybody's going to love it. Everybody's going to want, what I'm selling. And then they be like, no, we don't want that.
Yeah. You let yourself down by, having expectations.
Yeah.
And kind of thinking you are the same as everybody else.
Yes. But I think that the learning or the smart thing, I always tell you, like, when I hear you speak, that you are older, that you're wiser than your age, because that is a hard lesson to learn. And sometimes people don't learn until it's way too late. You know what I mean? They're like, I like it. I'm going to sell it. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm passionate about. But you're like, your passion is not going to pay the bills. Right?
No. you gotta dust yourself off and get back up. Honestly, and those are the people that are very stagnant in the business world. The people that they latch on to this idea so much, and then they get upset when the consumers don't react the way that they thought.
Yes.
And you just can't do that, because a lot of these bigger companies, they started off in industries that have nothing to do with what they're selling now.
Yeah.
But they can definitely tap into those industries based on the revenue and profits that they're making.
Right.
So, they have the money now to even say, okay, people didn't like it when I first started, but let's see how they like it now when they have more money to push it in a better way and put it in more faces.
Right. Because maybe they just haven't found their target customer.
Exactly. Maybe you was just in the wrong space at the wrong time selling that product.
Yeah.
And your customer base is in Japan.
Right. Exactly. So speaking about Japan and your current business, do you have any desire to provide products or expand outside of Bermuda?
Definitely. We actually just got on board with a third-party seller in the United States.
Okay.
So we have some warehouse space in the United States now, and we have a lot of products loaded up there, and that'll just break down the shipping time and the shipping cost for everybody who's going to be in the United States. So that's like a big step for Special Misfits, because, I always wanted to reach that international audience. I just do the math in my head, like 64,000 people.
I know.
That's really not a lot. Even if they gave me $1,000 each.
Right. It's still not where you want to be.
Right. Not where I want to be. Nowhere close. So for me, I definitely was trying my hardest to figure out a way to get into that international market, and finally done that for sure.
Okay. Yay. Well, I'm excited. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So let's talk about, you've since graduated from the Summer Student Entrepreneurship Program, and we also have Enterprise Bermuda, which is our 12-month incubator program, which you are now also a participant in. So talk to me a little bit about why it's important, or why you think, or do you even think it's important to have that kind of continuation of learning and education, and what does this particular program provide that's different from what you got in the Summer Student Entrepreneurship Program?
Okay. Well, first off, you never know it all. So it's always more to actually learn. You've got to just constantly be hungry and, gain more information in your industry. If you truly want to be the best, you got to work harder than the best. You got to do more than what the best is currently doing. And for me, I know I'm not the best. I want to be the best. So for me, I always knew it was more work to be done. So I joined that program with the intentions of learning more about business in general. And what I think stood out to me was the mentorship opportunity. It was a little different from the SSEP, which was more independent.
Yeah.
And the mentorship I felt like was something I was looking for because I didn't really see any icons in the e-commerce or clothing industry space that were like very close to me that I could reach out to. So I was just looking for a mentor with like a little bit more experience in one of those two things. And luckily that program has definitely provided that for me. So
Okay, that's
it's been
awesome.
great.
Well, I mean, that for us to see you start here and summer student as a young person and then continue your business and move through the program and take advantage of the incubator program, that's what we want to see, right? We want to be in a position, and when I say we, I mean BEDC wants to be in a position to support you wherever you are on the business, on your entrepreneurial life cycle, right? So that you are still finding value in the programming. It means I think we're getting something right. So we're happy to hear you say that. So within the program, what would you say has been the best experience or the best teacher for you?
I think talking to like a genuine millionaire.
Okay.
Like that was for me, that was pretty mind blowing. Like to have somebody that you can actually talk to that has, the actual numbers. A lot of time people, you can listen to 100 motivational
Yeah.
videos a day, but how much numbers are these guys creating?
Yeah.
It's not all about money, but money's the only thing that people keep track of.
Right.
Everybody's keeping track of the money. So just getting that real knowledge from somebody who has the financial literacy was just super valuable, and it's really been a huge impact on me because I see somebody that I want to be like, somebody I can look up to, and the things that they're telling me I'm implementing and I'm seeing results.
Okay.
So it's just priceless.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you, and I do think that sometimes it's difficult to have that type of conversation in Bermuda, I think, because we're so small, especially in terms of industries, the retail industry and all of that. I do get the sense sometimes that people like to hold their cards close to their chest for fear that people are going to, I don't know, steal customers, steal ideas, and all that kind of thing. And I do know that having been in the States and worked in the States and been to all these different competitions and looked at incubators all over the world, that you need, it's going to take more than just you, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So you have to like reach out. You have to be willing to speak to someone or share your vision with others, because that person that you share, like you said, might have the solution, might have some suggestions for how you can get where you want to be. And I do think that because Bermuda is so small, sometimes it's not easy to find that person that can help take you to the next level.
Yeah, and I think it's a matter of scarcity. People feel like the customer base is scarce.
Yes.
So they feel like they need to hide it in their pocket. But it's really naive, and it's really ridiculous, pretty much, because I used to work in a grocery store. How many cereals do you see in aisle 3?
Right.
How many juices do you see in aisle 2? Like, everybody has their product, but it's a different label.
Yeah.
It's a different way of presenting the product. And then if you actually do your business research, some of these guys are using the exact same manufacturers with the exact same recipes and just a different box.
Yeah.
And still making money. So for you to be like that selfish, it's gonna cap your growth, because
Right.
a lot of times these big companies that make these trillions of dollars are doing big collaborations. They're not isolates. They're collaborating.
Right.
So if Bermuda, I think, does a lot more collaborating and gets back to that community feel, because I feel like back in the day, from what I'm heard from older people in my family, Bermuda had a lot more collaborative spirit, even when it came to like building houses.
Yeah.
Your neighbor will come and lay some block with you, help
Yeah.
you build your house. So just getting back into that collaborative spirit, I think can really help a lot of industries in Bermuda, because you're just not gonna get nowhere if you're doing it by yourself or trying to do it by yourself.
Right.
Because essentially, you can be the top in Bermuda, sure, but people are making billions hundreds of billions of dollars.
Correct.
If you really want to do something, you got to get with the right people and create that dream team.
Yep.
So,
The team, right?
Yeah, the team aspect is super, super beneficial.
Yeah. I had the opportunity to speak to or hear from Richard Branson. And that's the whole thing. He was like, I don't know nothing. Like, I know that I don't know anything, so I know I have to find somebody that knows more than me to make whatever idea I have come to fruition. Yeah, I might have the idea, but like you said, idea don't make money. It's the implementation. And so recognizing early that it's not just the you, it's the team that's going to make you or make your vision actually flourish and come to fruition. I think is something that people who don't scale like they should don't realize, right? They miss that part. So I wanted to talk to you about, I guess, the specific skills or knowledge that you have learned on this journey. So I'll let you speak to that first, but then I also want to know, like, where did you get this whole serial entrepreneur thing from? Like, do you have family that you modeled after? Did you see, like, how have you come to be here? Talking to me about this.
Well, I think my dad is a big icon for me because he was an entrepreneur himself. He had his own business successfully building houses. So I did look up to him in a sense for sure. And just being around him and seeing how he just ran his business and how his workers just, like, they enjoyed work, they enjoyed coming to work, and they got things done. I think that was just really a special experience for me growing up. And I also think my mom as well, she also pushes a lot of creativity on me. She placed me in a lot of different environments to experience a lot of different things, and I'm super grateful for that because I've somehow managed to take a little bit of everything that I'm experiencing and bring it together to help me thrive. So my parents is definitely a big part in who I am today and how my business came about. And skills, I would say just practice. Like, I was making sales outside of Special Misfits just on my own. Like, I would go even to the barn, get a product, and then I'll flip the product for like $10 more. $10 more. So getting these sales experience for me, interacting with people and selling products is really how I came to be so good at it and actually have that part of my business be, a shining star, essentially. Like, I know how to get sales. I can sell anything you get to me.
So you can sell water to someone living in the rainforest.
Yeah, water to a fish.
Yeah.
I can do it.
I mean, I think that's important because what I have seen, especially in the retail industry, is you have people that make beautiful things. Earrings are an example of a local artisan. But they may or may not have that little sales ability, right? So they prefer to make the thing, but selling is a whole different story. And so I think having the combination of those two things is like a secret sauce, I feel. And so it sounds to me that you're saying that practice makes perfect. Like, the only way you're going to get good at
it's just by doing it.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like acting was another thing that really impacted me. Like, I was into acting for a while. At one point, I wanted to be an actor, but I just was, like, I think the stage fright, I had to get over that.
Yeah.
And then it's a matter of being able to present yourself in a good way to then have a good effect on people, whether, you're trying to be funny and making people laugh, or you're the bad guy in the character and you actually got people on the edge of the seat. Like, they feel as if it's real almost.
Yeah.
So I think, that's definitely, the psychology or sociology part of things. Acting can be beneficial as well.
So all you would-be entrepreneurs, if you want to get your sales game up, enroll in some acting class.
Join Toastmasters, do a couple plays, one or two, Improv really does help, and it's actually helped me a lot in sales, strange enough, improv, because sometimes you get a question from somebody and, it really throws you off a bit. And if I didn't have those improv skills, then I wouldn't have an answer.
Right.
I always have an answer. So thanks to the improv, thanks to the improv, you can kind of relax sometimes, be more comfortable in negotiations.
Yeah. Okay. Look, what do you envision Special Misfits as? Like when it's full grown, what is that vision for you?
Well, I think, I think really and truly a business is never done. Like, there is no end goal, there is no complete business. Like,
Okay.
I really don't feel like there's a limit. And I do think that Special Misfits at, I would say, fulfilling a large portion of its potential would be super impactful in the youth
Mm-hmm.
and inspiring them.
Okay.
Because I would love to create products that give that like that wow moment, like when
Mm-hmm.
you use the product. And I think the combination of tech and fashion is going to be super interesting, just based on what I've seen in the marketplace already.
Mm-hmm.
What the world has come in, a lot of people are just not gonna expect. And
Yeah.
I want Special Misfits to be at the front runner of that industry, of the clothing tech industry.
So, are you looking to produce your own kind of branded clothing and accessories, or are you looking at being a reseller of newest, the latest, the greatest? Like, what
I
is
think it's a little bit of both for
okay?
sure. I don't have the time, unfortunately, to sit there and create a whole catalog for
Mm-hmm.
the next 50 years. So
Right.
I think I will have to collaborate with people that have more resources
Mm-hmm.
or have an idea. And I don't mind at all. For
Mm-hmm.
some of our last products, I even end up talking to a manufacturer and helping them upgrade the product
Mm-hmm.
and then present it as a Special Misfits product.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still taking part in the collaboration of the actual products, but some of them, I would say, is a little bit less than others.
Okay.
Some of our products, I'm doing a lot of the actual making. Like when it comes to the custom shirts, I'm the one splattering the paint. I'm the
Mm-hmm.
one designing the shirt. I'm creating the digital mock-ups, and all I'm using is a base material that may be from Italy
Okay.
or from a manufacturer somewhere else. So it's a little mixture of both, but I feel like I'm gonna be doing something a little different, which is gonna be incorporating artists, local artists in
Yeah.
Bermuda, and having them work with Special Misfits as a company
Mm-hmm.
to design wearable art, like clothing that is
Right.
one of one essentially,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and people can buy these pieces. So helping out the artists, one, it may not be a product I made,
Mm-hmm.
but we're the platform that the artists can use to
To get
kind
their
of get
products
their
to the
products
consumer.
out there. So
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And I think it speaks to, like you said, giving young people an opportunity
to get involved,
yeah, to get
yeah.
involved and get their feet wet. And artists are artists, so sometimes they're like, I'm not worried about the consumer side. I just like doing this thing. But I think creating opportunities for them to see how their art can actually be a source of revenue and income for them is a great thing. So, Marcus, it's been so good speaking to you. So, finally, I just want to ask for your advice to young entrepreneurs who are considering entrepreneurship or they don't know, they're on the fence. What words of encouragement would you give them and what would you tell them to consider?
I would say just do it. I'd honestly encourage all young entrepreneurs to make that first step, to put their idea out there, to not be afraid to fail. And nothing's perfect, so there is no end goal for perfection. You can just get as close to perfection as you can, and it really just starts with that first step. You're gonna get results only if you enter the examination and you actually begin to actually do. And another thing was be very careful who you involve in your inner circle,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of times our environment can have a huge impact on our actual growth,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of times it may not be you that is just forcing yourself to have these negative results.
Mm-hmm.
It may be these outside factors that are kind of maybe going through something and offloading their negative energy onto you,
Mm-hmm.
and you're wondering at why you feel this way. So I think a large a portion of people's success is due to them being in these environments that push them towards innovation
Mm-hmm.
and just progress overall.
Okay, great words of wisdom. One of the things that we were talking about earlier, or one of the analogies that I liked that you mentioned, was putting your foot on the gas. I don't know if you could just say it how you said it.
Yeah, I was saying just put your foot on the gas and start.
Uh,
If you don't start the race, you have no chances of winning or no chances of being on the podium.
right.
So you have to put your foot on the gas and drive the car. It's not gonna go nowhere if you don't go.
Yes.
So, just do it. All the entrepreneurs out there, you follow Nike and just do it, man.
I love it. Well, thank you for minding your business with us today. And remember, if you don't mind your business, who will?
Nobody.
Because if you don't mind your business, who will? Mind Your Business is brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.